Good evening and welcome to the 2014 Dr. John W. Harris Teacher of the Year Award reception. This award and this evening would not be possible without our friend and partner who's been with us for several years in this adventure, Bruce Eide with Vern Motor Cars. Bruce, would you stand and let us give you a round of applause, please? He won't stand now, but he will later when he awards the winner. Our theme for this celebration is captured in a short quote, and the quote is, "A teacher takes a hand, opens a mind, and touches a heart." And tonight, we are blessed with the presence here of 32 teachers who have truly taken the hands of hundreds of students, opened their minds, and touched their hearts. Our nominees and finalists lift up students each day and take them by the hand to open their minds and touch their hearts. They inspire them to believe in themselves, to do all they can be, and become all they can be. Our nominees make lifelong impressions on the children they serve. And I need to say to each of you that each teacher in here who is recognized tonight would be the first to say that they represent all of the teachers who day in and day out dedicate their lives to serving the children. Before we begin our celebration tonight, our celebration of teachers, please join me in enjoying dessert while our very fine Roosevelt High School jazz band, under the direction of Director Mike Hinch, continues to play for us. So go through the line, and I'll be back up here in a short time, and enjoy your music. Thank you. Please join me in giving another round of applause to the fine music we've heard on behalf of Roosevelt High School. Thank you. As you finish your dessert, I'd like to acknowledge a special guest in the house this evening. We have with us our state's Public Utilities Commissioner, Christy Fegan, and her two sons. Christy, would you please stand? Behind the scenes for this event is a team of people who work around the clock to make it happen. And one of those persons you witnessed tonight as she hobbled around, releasing us to go to the dessert table, Deanne Conrad in the back. We are grateful to SFEA and our partnership with SFEA and the boutonnieres and corsages that were provided tonight. So thank you, Pam, and your organization. We'd also like to thank Ben Schumacher, and Ben stands behind the camera in the back, and Jeff Little, who are working to film tonight's event, as well as the time and talent that Ben puts into as he goes around to interview the finalists and prepare the video that we'll soon watch for each of our teachers who we are celebrating. And then last but not least, we have a panel of judges who put in a very difficult job, a very difficult time it is to look at 32 applicants, all who can be lifted up. And one of the judges who's with us tonight is Ginger Pele, and Ginger is here, and she has her son with her as well. The other judges who were unable to be with us were Kate Foley with the Small Business and Leadership Development for the Sioux Falls Chamber of Commerce, Sean Pritchett with Dakota Bank, and he was also a Leadership Sioux Falls graduate. Sergeant David Osterquist, who is the supervisor of our School Resource Office program. And then finally, our board member, Carly Ryder. And Carly will be up here soon tonight, as she's the one who gets to literally announce the winner. But she's joined tonight by School Board President Doug Morrison, our Vice President, Kent Elberty, Board Member Kate Parker, and we have Board Member Todd Tolke, who has complications due to a knee surgery, and he's not able to be here tonight. So I'm hoping that he'll be watching carefully this video as it plays later. Carly, before you come forward, though, we have some other nominees and previous winners to acknowledge, so we will ask President Doug Morrison to come forward to carry on.
Thank you, Dr. Holman. What a great night. Since the Teacher of the Year program began in 1989, over 350 teachers have been recognized as nominees and finalists, and 25 of them have previously been named Teacher of the Year. These 25 outstanding teachers represent various backgrounds and areas of specialty, and each possesses effective teaching skills and a passion for their profession. Tonight's program includes the names and schools of all of our previous winners, if you look on the back of your program. A number of them were able to join us this evening. I invite these distinguished Teacher of the Year alumni to stand and be recognized as we honor your legacy. And now our School Board Vice President, Ken Alberty, and member Carly Ryder will now introduce this year's 32 nominees, and Kate and I will present the certificates. Thank you.
Nominations and letters of support were submitted by colleagues, parents, principals, and students for the teachers we are honoring tonight. This support shows us clearly that they are dedicated to educating and preparing each of their students to succeed in our changing world.
Nominees, as we read your name, please come up and receive a small gift to recognize your achievement.
I got the hardest name, so I'm going to apologize in advance in case I make an error. Travis Arbo, Axtell Park Middle School.
Tammy Cooper Mosier, John Harris Elementary School.
Robin Costello, John Harris Elementary.
Karen Coda, Pettigrew Elementary.
Karen de la Montaña, I apologize, John Harris Elementary.
Lori Erickson, The Success Academy.
Robin Ernster, John Harris Elementary.
Chris Hansen, Rosa Parks Elementary.
Tara Hansen Leenan, Rosa Parks Elementary.
Judy Ann Hillison, Memorial Middle School.
Anita Hoffman, St. Mary's School.
Shannon Holweiler, John Harris Elementary.
Christian Ersfeld, JFK Elementary.
Bridget Jacobs, Roosevelt High School.
Aaron Larson, Garfield Elementary.
Okay. Julie Larson, JFK Elementary.
Jane Lukens, Patrick Henry Middle School.
Dean Marty, Challenge Center.
Rebecca Mosier, Laura Wilder Elementary.
Andrea Saylor, Oscar Howe Elementary.
Alicia Sferaza, Oscar Howe Elementary.
Nicole Schillmoller, Axtell Park.
Micah Siegel, John Harris Elementary.
Sandra Turgeon, John Harris Elementary.
Nicole Valness, Robert Frost Elementary.
And Lindy Willett, Rosa Parks Elementary.
Please recognize these teachers one more time for their outstanding service. Thank you.
Down a little bit, otherwise you won't be able to hear me. And now for our finalists. Each of our 6 finalists has a unique perspective on their mission and what it means to them to be a teacher. Let's take a few minutes to listen and watch as we learn some of the things that have inspired them to teach and impact others.
what keeps me being a teacher. And of course, the answer is very obvious. Of course, it's the children. You really need to love them and like them. I mean, we're sequestered in this room with 4 walls and one little exit hatch. So if you didn't like them, you'd have a pretty miserable day. So I think the obvious thing is it's the kids. But the job of a teacher is so much more than just teaching today, and I think I enjoy that too. But first I had to learn that it was different. Because if you think that all you're here to do is teach, a lot of times you might say, well, if they just would let me teach, if I could just teach. But it's so much more. You are a nurse, you are a social worker, you are a counselor. And that makes your day different every day. It makes it really exciting sometimes and, kind of sad and overwhelming other times. But once you realize that your job is not just one thing, it kind of makes you feel good to know that you do a lot of different things in your day. My kids know from the very beginning of the school year that aside from keeping them safe, the most important thing that I have to do this year is teach them how to read. Kindergarten teachers plant the seeds and they get it started for us, but then when they get to first grade, it is an awesome responsibility to take these kids who maybe only see a black squiggle on a piece of white paper and have no idea what to do with that. And you take it and you turn it into somebody who can read and love books. Seeing them smile in the morning, knowing that they're happy to be here at school, knowing that when I send them home, for the most part, they've had a good day and they feel good about themselves. That is probably the most meaningful to me.
I love teaching science. It's different than all your other classes. You get to get up and move around and experiment and do things, and it's a little bit less structured. And I think that you can have a little bit more fun with that. I feel like, too, the relationships that you build with kids helps them understand that you're here for them. You're not here to just stand up at the front of the room and talk and make them listen. You're there to build that relationship. It's not always about the science. It's about building the relationship and having these kids have fun at school. There's some kids that dread coming to school because learning is hard, or maybe they had a rough night at home, and you never know what's going on at home or what's going through their heads or anything like that. And so I feel like just making it a little bit fun and being goofy for them to know that I'm silly too, like I'm not perfect, and I guess letting them see that I make mistakes too, and that this is the place where we can make mistakes and it's safe and it's okay. I've been asked what would I do if I wasn't a teacher, and I honestly have absolutely no idea. I can't picture myself in an office. I've done the office job, behind the desk for summer jobs and stuff like that, but it's just not fun. I mean, these kids, you never know what's gonna come out of a kid's mouth, especially an 8th grader. I mean, they're fun. And yeah, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of, extra this and extra that, but we're building our future, I think, as teachers. We're making these kids grow up into who's going to take care of us and who's going to be around when we're old and, trying to just make it through. And so I just like the kids. I love the kids. I love being around these kids, and I think they make me feel younger. 9 times out of 10, it should be something that they are having a good time learning, and they're getting the most out of it that they can.
I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. My mom was a teacher and my aunts were teachers, and so I knew I had that path. And then in between my freshman and sophomore year in college, I worked at a Christian camp, and during 1 week we had what was a camp for adults with disabilities, and after that summer with them, I knew that special education was where I wanted to be. When you teach in the cluster department, you have a variety of needs, to more significant to less severe, and so you have the whole variety. I enjoy helping students who need help with their communication and adapting curriculum so it fits their needs, all the way up to a student. Today we had an assignment, tell me why you're lucky, since it's about St. Patrick's Day, and she's a student who's transitioning to high school, and she said, I know we're not related, but you're all my family. So that was just a really special moment when you have students for 3 years and you have them for the majority of their day. You really can make good connections with them and their families. I love being at work. It just is always something that's where I'm supposed to be, and so I feel like work is where I want to be. It's my fit. A lot of our students have significant either financial needs or if they have some bathrooming needs and we don't have the correct supplies, in order to make their day successful, they have to have clean clothes. They need to have their supplies. For example, yearbooks. If they want yearbooks at the end of the year, we bought yearbooks for students just to make them feel successful. And it's part of that relationship building piece, the joy of making a difference the next day. The kids are always so happy to see you and work so hard. We had a student over winter break. She came back and she rubbed the table and she goes, school, because she missed school. And it's just such a pleasure to work with students who enjoy coming to school and working hard. I love creating the materials and adapting it and making it work for students.
From the very first day, I always tell my kids that we're a family of friends. I really base my classroom around that we're a family when we're here. And I do that through the curriculum, but mostly how we treat each other, how we stick up for each other on the playground, how we're kind to each other. And those are lessons we work with every day because nobody's perfect. And so sometimes we say things that we wish we could take back, but we just talk about a family of friends and how we work together here to take care of each other, and we show love for each other and how we care. I always say that I never leave school until I'm ready for the next day. And so I'm here. I'm here many times until 5:30 or 6 o'clock at night. I look at the assessments I've given the kids during the day and I take grades, but mostly during that time I'm preparing my lessons for the next day. I just feel like I need to be the best I can be for my kids. I hope that they know how much I care about each one of them. I always say we are a group of really good kids. Sometimes we make poor choices, but we can fix that and we can make that right. But I really try hard to make sure that every kid every day gets a special connection with me. I feel like if they think that they're special to me, that gives them some incentive to improve their reading or their math or their writing or whatever that we're working on. Every day we say the poem that's called Family of Friends. We say it every day right after we say the pledge. And then we have a little reminder that we're a family. I tell them I'm kind of like your school mom while we're here, and you're like my children. And we work together as a team, and we learn every day as best as we can. Curriculum is very important, but I really think relationships are the key to what makes a room successful. And if we're getting along as a team or as a family, then I think that improves their learning altogether.
I really liked school and I really liked math, so it worked out really well that I just started to think this is something I would like to do. And then when I went to college, I just think that some of those classes just showed me how I could do this with loving math, being able to teach that and help kids who struggle or help kids who love it, depending on who they are, and also just get to do life with high schoolers. I think that high school is just a great time, and they go through just peaks and valleys, and I get to just walk alongside of them every day and get to encourage them when days are tough and when days are good. So that's just kind of why I love it. Like, I love getting to do just daily life with them. I get to teach them math, but I also get to just really encourage them to just find joy and choose joy in life and love learning, whether it's math, whether it's chemistry. Hopefully it's math. And I see that whole spectrum. I see kids who really, really get it, and they think mathematically and logically, and then some who just really, like, this is really, really out there for them. And so I try to do a lot of one-on-one. I try to just really make myself accessible, make sure that I can think through just how they might have questions. I love those relationships. I love going to practice and games and getting to be their coach. Some of the girls I have in class too, so I also get to be their coach along with their teacher. So that's really cool. And then it just gives me another avenue to just get to know them outside of class, because I always tell my students, like, there's more to life than school for you. I get that. Like, you are involved in things, you have lives outside of school, so I want to know that about you. But I also think school is important, so we need to figure out how to do that together and do that well. The kids are why I do my job, and I don't know, I could even be like having a tired morning too, but when my first period starts, like, I just love what I'm doing because they're there, they're ready to go, they want to learn, and I know that. So having those relationships with them, whether it's like a 20-second conversation about their weekend or about their show choir, competition, it's something that makes them know that I care about them, because I do.
For me, it was just the experience of working with kids and seeing what positive exchanges could happen that made me feel like that's what I wanted to be. I just really enjoy all of the kids that I work with, and I get a lot out of seeing them succeed. And this year in particularly, a lot of these kids, especially in debate, have, and that's pretty rewarding. This year in particular, I decided I'm going to ask myself before I make any decision, does this make the kids shrink so that they don't have to make other people feel small, or does it make them shine? And every time I have made a decision to let them be as shiny as they possibly can be, they have done way more than I expected. And so this year, we've got kids who qualified to 2 national tournaments. Last year, we won the state title. I have kids who were struggling with sexual identity things and feel really embraced in who they are that way. And I just think it's really important, and I think our society doesn't do this well enough, to tell kids, no, don't hold back. You don't have to slow down or wait it out or see if things are gonna go okay. You're fine, you're brave, you're strong, and you can do it. And then if they do fall or fail, it's just high school. It's like the consequences aren't that big. They might get a B instead of an A, and I think that that's an okay risk for them to take. School community is really important to me. So last year I had a yoga club, which went okay, but more successfully, I've worked with the football team, the cross country team, and the track team. If I am practicing yoga on a regular basis, then I make better decisions emotionally, physically, and interact with people better. And so I thought, well, that seems really selfish for me to not share that skill with other people, right? And then if we've got a huge group of kids at Roosevelt interacting with each other in a more positive way, then I can't help but think that doesn't make for a better school climate. But that's why I really enjoy working with kids, is because the world hasn't beat them up yet. And so they give me just so much hope about the future and what the human condition can endure, and also all the good things that I think that they're gonna bring to the world.
Finalists, as we read your name, please come forward to receive your gift and a voucher for $100 for you to use as you wish in your classroom. Maureen Bland, Lowell Elementary. Allison Carlson, Patrick Henry Middle School. Sarah Henricks, Axtell Park Middle School. Holly Hoffer, Robert Frost Elementary. Jessica Pomeranke, Roosevelt High School. And Jacqueline Wilbur, Roosevelt High School. Congratulations again to all of our nominees and finalists. At this time, board member Carly Ryder will come up and make the final announcement that we're anxiously awaiting, and she hasn't told us anything. I tried.
All right. More than $70,000 has been awarded to outstanding teachers since 1989 due to the generous heart of Bruce Eide, owner of Vern Eide Motor Cars. Bruce understands that when a teacher takes a hand, opens a mind, and touches the heart, our students and our community benefit. Our ongoing relationship with Bruce and Vern Eide embodies the spirit of the school business partnership. Bruce is here tonight to share in the celebration of teachers. He will help us to present the award to our winner in just a few moments. This year, I had the privilege of serving on the judging panel for the Teacher of the Year award. Before meeting as a group to select this year's recipient, each of the 5 judges had the opportunity to review, then re-review, highlight, star, asterisk, all over the nominations individually. When we came together, our final task was to combine our individual thoughts and perspectives into a group consensus and ultimately arrive at naming the 2014 Dr. John W. Harris Teacher of the Year. As we studied the nomination and support letters, words like this were used to describe our winner. Wonderful, genuinely kind, caring, compassionate, thoughtful, generous, conscientious, professional, positive, fair, empathetic, and inspiring advocate. At this time, I'd like to welcome Bruce Eide to come forward with the presentations while I offer a few more hints about our winner. The letters of support said, "Whenever people need anything, she is the first person they run to. She strives to make a positive impact on her students daily, and she has a heart to serve. She has the ability to teach the most challenging students in a calm, accepting, and effective manner, and I strive every day to be more like her." On behalf of Vern Eide Motor Cars and the Sioux Falls School District, I'm proud to present this plaque and a check for $4,000 to our winner of the 2014 Dr. John W. Harris Teacher of the Year. Drum roll. Sarah Henricks, Axtell Park Middle School.
Oh my. I have a few words here. I'm thankful for a profession where I'm never bored and no day is ever the same. I'm thankful for the students who teach me, challenge me, and stretch me. I'm grateful for families who trust me daily to teach and care for their children. When I'm faced with a difficult decision at school, I always think how I'd want my own children to be treated, and then the decision is always much easier to make. My colleagues are an endless support for me. At one of the back-to-school sessions at the arena, Dr. Homan suggested that we need to find a best friend at work, and I'm fortunate to have a table full of them here with me tonight. Thank you. I appreciate my administrators who value my students and all of the students at Axtell Park. Thank you. This winter, I was asked to speak at a class along with other staff from the district at USF about creating materials for students with severe disabilities. And one young man rose his hand and said, "How do you find time to get everything made?" And someone responded, "Well, you need to marry someone who likes to cut out lamination." and this young man said, "What happens if I'm not the marrying type?" And we all just laughed. And I'm happy to say I found someone who will cut out lamination, set up technology for me throughout the year, and someone who is also as generous with our budget and understands that we need to help meet the students' needs. Thank you, Kurt. And most importantly, my family's faith has been a solid foundation for who I am and what I do. I love teaching the kids in front of me. the kids who need me to differentiate activities, think outside the box, change up behavior plans, and rethink our routines and lessons. Being a teacher in the cluster program at Axtell Park is a true joy. Thank you.
Her table of friends are just itching to attack her. I would like to thank each and every one of you for coming tonight to help us support, encourage, and celebrate teaching. Truly, as we've seen tonight and witnessed in this room, that each day, every one of our teachers really reach out and they open minds and touch hearts. And we are so blessed to be in this community and surrounded by such tremendous professionals. So congratulations, Sarah. Congratulations to each of the finalists and every one of the nominees. We thank you for what you do each and every day to the 23,000 students that we educate and care for. Thank you.
Been a long time either for a special education teacher to win this award or if it's even ever happened. And it's a hard balance between paperwork for IEPs and your lesson plans and keeping up with all of the new policies and best practices. So yeah, it's a well earned for special education teachers to get this award. I grew up in a small town and my mom taught in a small town. So whether she's taking tickets in the evening at a basketball game or working at a book fair or all of those things that she just is expected to do. And the Sioux Falls district is very good at recognizing those after-hour duties for pay or all of the training that we have is just an incredible opportunity. And also the support staff. We have leaders who are able to go to conferences and pass that information on. If we have problems with the behavior, we have a behavior team we can call on. If we need some help with assistive technology, we have an expert in that area. It just, all that wealth of information is a very big bonus teaching in the Sioux Falls School District. I love Axtell Park. It's a small middle school, so just being able to know more students has been very fortunate. And then we have all of the extra programs. We have the Immersion Center where students, it's their first introduction to a school setting. We have lots of intervention programs, Read 180, Math 180, all of those extra programs, and then my program, the cluster program. So there's just a unique opportunity for students to have all of those different types of programs, but yet they still have the same academic standards, high standards that everyone has throughout the district, so it's a nice bonus for students. We had an in-service in February, and when we went out there, I took pictures. Our students have a hard time transitioning from building, and once they get into their routine, kind of like that. As adults, we like that too. And so we've already made a picture book of what the lunchroom looks like in the theater, and that building is absolutely beautiful. So we showed that picture and everyone was excited, and the 8th graders were bummed out they're not going, and just looking forward to a new setting and trying something different. I think just the excitement too for Axtell Park. I think it'll be good for our students to be proud of being in a new building, and just hopefully some of that rubs off on them. I think being in the Sioux Falls School District here at Axtell Park is just such a tight community. We really call ourselves family. You spend so many hours either at school and then in the evenings thinking about your students, thinking about your classroom, and you feel part of the community. Even if a staff member has a joy or something, excitement in their life, showers, or if something sad happens, you support them, and whatever that is. It's a community. But then you're also, being in the Sioux Falls School District, if you need those supports, you're able to reach out to other experts and get that. And and even then, that even too feels like a community. There's such nice people to help and work for. When students needs, we have a new Immersion Center student who's now qualified for the cluster program, and he has worn the same outfit now for 2 weeks. And so obviously there's a need there, and that just just because we're going to get him some clothes, and that's just what you do. I think that's important. I've really enjoyed being part of the cluster program as far as our students participating in extracurricular activities, because it's really important for them to integrate with their other peers, get to know some other friends, and then they see a lot of successes. They're able to see each other in the hallway and make good friends and build some, helps them feel like they're important and they're not in cluster classes because they have a hard time learning and they just see that as their identity. Instead, they say, hey, I can participate in sports and I do a good job in it. We have some students that are in chorus, or we go to band concerts or basketball games, and absolutely I'm there to cheer them on. When you have students for 3 years and you see those families at IEPs and conferences, and you just build friendships and relationships with them, so you want to be there to support them. Just because a student is in cluster, that doesn't mean they're in cluster until their high school. If they really excel at math, then they can go to resource math, or they can go to a math class with support with some EAs. So we really try to make sure that it's individualized towards the student so they can see gain and progress and make some of those goals for if someday they want to go to a vo-tech school or whatever job they want to do later on. We really want to help them pursue those goals. I love to learn. I love going to district trainings, and it's fun to be able to take that information and figure out how it's going to work for cluster students. And the district has been so good at providing the alternates for cluster, such as language arts just wrote significant tasks for language arts last year, and Sandy Henry made sure that cluster was involved. So we could take that same material. For example, one was called Can Animals Think for 6th graders, and so we have that same unit in cluster and we work on that same project. So we're just so fortunate that the district recognizes the importance of aligning the curriculum and including our students. It's such a fun job. I say to people, why would you want to work anywhere else in the district? I just think this classroom is just the best place to be.